At this time, we're going to take questions, and then we will be ready to go on to other activities. Are there any questions for us this afternoon? We have Dr. Norton, who's going to assist me if you get too detailed, but we'll take questions at this time. Yes, ma'am.
I can't remember if it was you or Ms. Penny that said this, but you said over 200,000 students are not at grade level. What are you going to be doing to try and fix that?
Well, let me just respond by saying that we've already begun. Some of our reforms have not been in place but about a year, but we've already seen significant growth. We're going to actually take a look this year, analyze our data to see which ones we need to tweak to continue those efforts, which ones are not working. We're going to continue to partner with our school districts and schools to ensure that they are receiving the kind of support they need. In addition, we've already begun doing all of the activities around our reorganization. In fact, we have 9 critical goals that have been approved by our state board. And from those goals, we are doing everything we possibly can to improve what we do in the department to ensure that students are learning. We have a superintendent delivery unit that's headed up by one of the giants in the nation who works directly with the department leaders to ensure that we actually measure what we do to see if we're being effective and it's working. So we just want to continue those efforts, and we'll take a look and analyze to see where we are and where we need to go.
Can you give specifics on what kind of efforts that you already have out there?
Yes. In CCR, for an example, we have Ms. Debbie Shum here this afternoon. She has several different programs that she's working with high schools. I'm going to ask her to come up and just talk a little bit about what she's doing in all 400 high schools to help us actually reach our graduation goal. Debbie?
Thank you. Good afternoon. One of the things that we're doing right now is we have a program called Everybody Graduates. It's a grant program that allows different districts and different schools to participate in a program for freshmen to make sure that we are doing everything we can to give them the components they need to graduate on time and to graduate college and career ready. We have about, I'd say, 7 different specific programs from JAG to career and tech ed, to dropout prevention techniques that we implement across the state in a variety of schools. And it's based on what I'll call not a cookie cutter approach. It's based on the individual needs of each individual school and district and applying best practices at the national and state level to help those schools gain the achievement they need for their students.
Okay.
Holly, could you or Scott touch again on why you think the LEAP went up in both the 4th and the 8th grade? And Scott might know this better. Has there been cases in the past where both grades have gone up 4 points or more?
I don't know, Will, without looking, but probably it's probably a result of the initiatives, I think, because we have initiatives in both of those areas. I think it also has to do with even though the policy is more than 10 years old, the high stakes testing policy, personally, I believe still has some impact, because we did see that the 2,300 students more than last year are going to be promoted.
When you say initiatives in those areas, what is it that you're talking about?
Okay. We're going to ask another initiative chief to come up and give us some specifics. Dr. Laster, can you come and talk a little bit about some of the things that you're doing with the literacy program? And then Ms. Ciano can talk about what we are doing to help districts be able to use their funding more effectively and target in those areas that really need to be targeted.
Thank you. We're working in literacy, birth through 12th grade, actually. We have statewide initiatives in 4th and 8th grade that touch all of the 4th and 8th grade ELA, regular ed, and special ed teachers in our districts. We have the Ensuring Literacy for All program that's a part of grade levels K through 3 in about almost 200 districts. We also work at middle school with a program called Opportunities, which was for our lowest performing 8th grade situations, and we saw growth in all of those programs except for one. Then we partner with Ms. Shum on some 9th grade initiatives for students that are reading significantly below grade level. And we also have just finished and have rolled out a new birth to 12th grade literacy plan that will affect every single school and district in the state. We had finished the adolescent plan, and that's been in place for about a year, and now we have the birth through 12th grade plan. So we're trying to virtually touch all children at all grade levels with literacy. Oops. And I can sit down now. That's one of my great superintendents, so he better be okay.
You okay? Sit there, Mike.
Yeah, you might have to bring the chair here.
You okay? All righty, we're glad that.
I just can't believe he's such a great man.
I know. I tell you, but he has so many great gains until he can't stand it this year. Hope he's okay.
He plays golf better than he can answer his telephone.
Does he? Great, great. There was, I need to bring up a couple other people because we want to fully answer the reporter from the Baton Rouge Advocate when he asked about some of those things and what we did. And Mr. Wilson Tell, we have a couple other people. I'm going to ask Beth to come up, then George is going to talk about what we're doing to measure ourselves to ensure that our goals are being met. But before I do that, come on up, Beth. I want to acknowledge East Baton Rouge. I didn't see Dr. Herman Brister. His district scored among the highest gains, and that's East Baton Rouge, and he is the assistant superintendent there. Stand, Mr. Brister, among the highest 20 in the state. Thank you. At this time, Ms. CNO is going to come and talk a little bit about what we do to help our communities and our people use the funds more effectively. Thank you.
As you know, the department's reorged, and that allows us to be much more strategic and together on everything that we move forward. And so one of the things we've done to help the districts do the same is introduce something called the Fiscal Model, and it helps them, it's a guide to help them braid their funds so that they have the funds available to implement these initiatives to ensure that all of their staff knew here at the agency how to do this, as well as the district staff knew how to do this so that they could implement all the things that have made these scores go up.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you so much. Rain, I'd like you to come and talk about how you're working to help build districts' capacity. I know you didn't intend to get all of this, but people need to know that we're utilizing the small amount of resources we have as effectively as we can. Rain?
Good afternoon, Rain Martin. I'm a Chief of Innovation here at the department, and I get to do some of the most fun work, I think. I work with districts really deeply around 3 critical issues. One is helping on human capital related issues, so looking at the new teacher leader evaluation system and helping districts implement that. We have teacher pipelines, leader pipelines, and changes around certification policies that we're doing with districts and helping. We also have a great program called the Trailblazer Program. A lot of the districts that have had gains are in that particular program, and it's an effort to design capacity for districts and build different types of conditions at the district level to support schools. We believe districts have a really prominent role in how districts operate, and it's important for the state to play a role in helping to build that capacity. And so we're really proud of our Trailblazer districts, and we're excited that many of them had a lot of good gains. We also do a huge amount of work around the lowest performing schools in the state outside of the Recovery School District schools. So the schools that at some point, if they don't improve, could become part of the RSD. We do a lot of capacity building with those districts around those schools, thinking about who are in those schools, what kind of instruction are those students getting, and making sure that districts are thinking about how the way they operate actually impacts those schools. So we enjoy it. We're really proud of our districts, and we have a lot of fun working with them. So thank you.
Thank you, Rain. Dr. Noel, can you come up and talk with us for just a moment about what we do to make sure that we're reaching our goals?
Yes, ma'am. I'm George Noel. I'm the director of the Superintendent's Delivery Unit. And in a nutshell, what we're trying to do is translate Bessie's and the department's vision of providing information that creates urgency around change now with the supports that drive that change, and building a world-class business analytic model in which we know, for example, that if you do the Alpha program, what is the expected return on investment each year? If you do ninth grade academies and so forth, and basically managing the state's portfolios of partnerships, programs, policies, and publicity efforts to try to drive against those critical 9 statewide goals that Bessie adopted in January of 2009. And so that's how our small contribution to support, basically, in essence, as we say over and over again, nothing that we do matters unless you can see it in a classroom in the space between one child and one adult, whether it's a counselor, a teacher, whatever. And how do we deploy our resources in a smart way so that the goal office leaders and the innovation leaders can do things that support great superintendents, who in turn support principals, who in turn support teachers, who cause things to happen differently in the course of kids' lives, that cause those numbers, Will, to go up in 4th and 8th grade. It'll drive up STEM numbers, it'll drive up graduation numbers, it'll drive down dropout numbers. And trying to align that to kind of change the landscape so that we are just as disciplined and just as organized and just as focused as any corporation on earth. I mean, we are the industry. Louisiana as an educational industry is one of the most significant industries in this state, and we need to be just as disciplined as Exxon, maybe better. So.
Thank you, George. Aaron, can you come down and talk about departmental support? And Will, I want to tell you, I'm glad you asked that question. And of course, my team did not know I would call on them, but they're ready at any time. Aaron?
Good afternoon. I'm Erin Bindley, Chief of Departmental Support. And for those of you who aren't familiar with departmental support, it consists of 4 different offices within the agency. Our Information Management Office, our Office of Parental Options, which includes our charter school authorizing activities, Federal Program Support, and our Office of Standards Assessments and Accountability. You may ask, what in the world do those 4 offices have in common with the things that we've heard about today? Because you tend to think about those offices being the ones that ensure compliance with various state and federal laws and tracking how funds are being spent and doing the calculations. But one of the things that we have been very focused on over the past year is making sure that all of the activities in the department, no matter what work is being done, that all of that aligns with our vision. And so we have worked very hard to ensure that, for instance, the work that we're doing in federal program support, that we are making sure that we're helping districts not only follow the various rules and regulations that are associated with these federal funds, but using those funds in a way that drives student achievement and have helped us to achieve the gains that we've seen today. We've also been very focused in our Office of Parental Options in making sure that we are approving and effectively monitoring the performance of our charter schools, and we're very proud to also know that the gains that they have achieved are very positive this year, and that's no accident. That's the result of having a board that has been very committed over the past several years to quality authorizing and making sure that we are only approving those charters that we know have what it takes to be successful and raise student achievement. We've also been very focused in providing support in our Standards Assessments and Accountability Office and making sure that we are assisting districts in implementing their curriculum and aligning their work with the professional development that is being provided through our goal offices in literacy, math and science, and college and career readiness. In information technology, we are working hand in hand with districts to help them align their data systems and to use data and build statewide longitudinal data systems so that we have all of the data necessary on which to base our decisions and drive student achievement. So those are ways that you can take a look at an office that tends to have a lot of the compliance type functions and know that we are aligned with the vision and with the goals of the department, and we are working very closely with them to ensure that even the things that we do are implemented in a way that is very student focused and very goal oriented.
Okay, thank you. All righty, are there any other questions? I've been getting the eye from my Director of Public Affairs. She says, enough, Ms. Tyler. But we wanted to make sure that people understood that the team is strong and that we are focused and we're mission driven. If there are no other questions, thank you so much this afternoon.